Hello, in this video I interview an English language test scammer. This is a very important video that I think every doctor who watches videos on my channel should watch because it's about not getting scammed in your medical career. Hello YouTube, I'm the Career Doctor. I'm here to help you manage your career right here on YouTube. And this video is about scams on the internet and scams for doctors. I'm wondering if you have been scammed before. Maybe leave me a comment about what the scam was about in the description below. So in this video, I'm going to show you an interview I did with one of these English language test scammers, someone who scams doctors for what's called the International English Language Test Score result. But before that, I wanted to cover a few things that I think are important for you guys to understand, particularly if you're moving between countries and you're going through some of the very bureaucratic processes that you can often go through. For example, if you're coming to Australia as a doctor from somewhere else and having to go through all the hoops. There are people that can help you like me, and there are people out there who just want to take your money. So let's just go through a few key principles, and I'm going to show you some of the scams that I've picked up on in my time recently advising people in medical careers, and then I'll take you through the interview. So let's firstly talk about how to avoid a scam in the first place. And I think there's a few key principles that you should adhere to in doing this. So I think the first thing is it's very important to do your independent research. So just because someone says that they can help you, don't just take them on face value. Check it out. Check with other people to see whether that person's provided them a service before. Are they legit? Have they done a good job? But also do your own due diligence in terms of what the requirements are. So if it's about an English language test, go and read the official information about what's required and understand what you have to do. Or if it's about getting a hospital placement, get some advice from, say, the medical board, like the Medical Board of Australia, which brings me to my second point, which is that always check the information on the official websites. You can tell these by the fact that they've got the .org and the .gov, or in the case of Australia, .org.au, .gov.au, that sort of thing. And so whilst that information can sometimes be a bit hard to engage with, and that's one of the reasons that I set up my coaching business and set up the Career Doctor channel to try and break some of this information down and explain it better to you guys. It's very important to go to the source of truth and read it. And if you do go, for example, to the Medical Board website, you'll see that what some of these English language test scammers are saying they can do, for example, fix your test results without you ever having to sit a test, is just not going to fly. It's not going to be legitimate. And you're going to get pinged, and you're probably going to be signaled as being fraudulent, and that's it. There's no chance of you working here in Australia, and possibly could come back to backfire on you in your own country as well. The next thing that I think is important when you're engaging with someone who's promising to, say, help with your CV or find you a placement or help you with a job search or help you with interviews, is to look for samples of their work. Now, if they're decent enough, they'll have a website or at least a good Facebook page or something like that with testimonials from people, but also examples of how they've, for example, done CVs for other people or their approach to interview preparation, that sort of stuff. You know, like me, you can watch almost 150 videos now. You can tell what I know about and what expertise I have, and maybe from the stuff that I haven't done, what I possibly aren't an expert on. So definitely ask for samples of work. Make sure that you don't just trust someone that they're going to do something for you without checking on that. And then finally, I think it's just, this is a good principle in life, but if something seems too good to be true, then it probably is. If someone's promising to make an easy fix to your English language test score without you having to do anything for a few $100s, just because they've got some friends inside, well, that's probably not going to work out for you then, is it? So I run a couple of Facebook groups actually to help both trainee doctors and international doctors, and these sort of groups, the international professionals groups in various countries, are really targeted by some of these scammers, focusing in on not just the International English Language Test Score exam, but things like the PTE and the OET and the other tests that you can do that can help with migrating and also getting employment in another country. And so there's this guy who keeps joining my group. I think it's a guy. I believe he is in Canada somewhere. I'll show you why I think that's the case. It's either a guy or a group of people, and they keep trying to join my Facebook group for international doctors. I keep having to block them and ban them, which is kind of a bit annoying. But this is one of the ones that he profiles that he tried to join with. And again, it's one of those typical ones where the Facebook profile looks a little bit sus. You can see here he's promising the PTE, which is one of the other English language test the TOEFL, which is another English language test than the IELTS. Then here he is again in another kind of slightly different name. And they all have these WhatsApp numbers. See, it's the same number. So that's why I think it's the same guy from Canada somewhere, maybe. Here he is again, and again, and again. Now, the reason why I know, there's a number of reasons why you can tell this guy's a scammer, but the thing I find particularly interesting is here. Can't even actually spell IELTS on his profile correctly. So what good is someone like that going to be when they can't even get that right on a profile? And he copies and pastes that every time too. So I'm going to show you an interview I had with this guy shortly, but a couple of other things I've picked up on. This is someone who sent me a letter saying I've just been offered a position at the Erin Hospital in Sydney for a clinical observership, and you can see that they're telling them they're going to earn $10,500. Now, this looks nothing like any of the letters that you get from a hospital in Australia for an official certificate. It quite frankly looks like a certificate that you might get from a hospital in India or Pakistan. It's a pretty bad job of faking something. And of course, we can probably Google Dr. Ron Calver, the chief executive there, whose signature has probably been stolen or replicated from elsewhere. But if we were to do Erin Hospital, Sydney, well, there's a medical research institute. There's an Erin Shanahan, but there's no hospital. And if we look to see what is actually on 235 Macquarie Street, Sydney, let's go to the maps. You can see there's definitely not a hospital there. There's a Sydney High Hospital across the road. So they almost got that right. But we can see 235 Macquarie Street is a cafe. So highly unlikely to check out. And then I've also seen this. So people will pay quite a bit of money to get their CV or resume rewritten. And this is just all over the show. This is not the sort of resume that's going to get you anywhere with an employer in Australia. And the person who paid for this, I felt so sorry for them. They actually redid their resume in a proper format. But you can see this is the front page of a resume that someone who's purporting to be an expert in this area has put together for them. Takes up a third of the page just with personal details, and then another third with qualifications, and finally with what's called bridging programs. So they're basically using a template that the medical board or the College of GPs is after. It's not an employer template. It took them 3 weeks apparently to put this together and charged several $100s for something that's really not going to help you when you're going for a job. So again, getting back to my point of looking for a work sample. So let's get to this interview that I did with the IELTS scammer. So this is my interview with Michael or Kevin or Johnson or whoever he might be, who I believe is in Canada somewhere. Now, he constantly joins my Facebook group, and usually I try and say hello to him to see if I can have a chat with him about what he's doing. Often he blocks me or ignores me, but this time I managed to get him to talk to me. You can see from their profiles, one of their things is to try and get you onto WhatsApp in a discussion. I guess that's easier and safer for them to engage with you, because I'm presuming Facebook is all over there scamming and blocking them. But obviously they get their clients from joining Facebook groups. So, I start off by just saying casual, hi, how you doing, Michael? Didn't think he'd actually respond. I think he actually responded a little while later, but he said, hello, I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm great. Was wondering how much you charge to fix up an IELTS score. And then this is to try and get you onto the WhatsApp group. So he said, okay, just rip me on WhatsApp for more information. Okay, bro. And he's starting to bro me at this point, which kind of annoyed me because I'm not a bro. So yeah, WhatsApp number. Why can't you tell me here? Okay, bro. Because we can better explain everything on WhatsApp. Okay, bro. And moreover, it's easy for me to type on WhatsApp. Okay, bro. So I've sort of countered back with, well, I don't have WhatsApp. I just want to know the price. For us to upgrade the score, it will cost 800 American dollars. Okay, I see. How does it work? This is where he kind of got me, because I actually have never sat the IELTS test. But he says, we just need logins for your previous exam, which will upgrade everything directly from the database. And remember, everything will be verifiable online, okay? Well, I didn't know that, but apparently I'm meant to remember it. So, okay, I do know now. Okay. You have nothing to worry about. This is kind of the reassuring you. This is all okay. It's not a scam. You have nothing to worry about, okay? For everything will be done correctly and verifiable online, okay? I've forgotten how many, maybe I'll go through this and count how many grammatical spelling errors there are here. Just relax. Let's handle everything, okay, bro? Okay. For someone who helps with English test scores, so I kind of got a bit cheeky here, thinking, well, I'm running out. This is to see how far I can get away with this here. So I sort of said, for someone who helps with English test scores, you have a funny way of writing. Emoji. Thought he might get onto me there, but just because I'm writing you while attending to other stuffs, okay? Okay, how do I make the payment? You do it in 2 installment, okay? 400 and immediately you vary online. You can complete it, okay? I want you to be rest assured that everything will be fine, okay? Well, I'm very, very sure at this point. I see. How do I know it will be okay? What you have to understand here is that everything is going to be verified online, okay? You need not stress about anything, okay, bro? How will it be verified? Simple. We shall give you the login details to verify on the official website. Okay. So I don't know how they actually do this, but I'm presuming they're changing the HTML on the website, changing the numbers like a number of scammers might do. But I'm interested to know if anyone's actually figured this process out. So they'll go in and you'll have your snapshot of your screen and they'll do something in the background that, change the number on the score because it's online and you'll think that's great. Write me okay, WhatsApp, bro. I insist. I don't use WhatsApp. Can you download the app on the Play Store? It okay, fine. So I thought I'd switch the topic around. Where are you from? Canada, bro. See, I was right. What about you? I'm in Australia. How are you able to do all this without me sitting the exam? We have inside men who work for us in the database who can provide you with any desired score band and we handle everything about the process. Can you download the app on Play Store? I mean, WhatsApp. So I was kind of running out of things to ask him about at this point, so I thought I'd just sort of ramp it up. I'm just wondering how many people fall for this scam? Question mark. I thought he'd block me at this point. I don't get you. And I'm actually genuinely interested to know, is this a profitable thing for people to be doing or is this really hard work? Because I suspect some of these scammers aren't really having a great life. And I never did get an answer to that part of the question. So let's just go through those principles again. Do your own independent research. Check the official information on the official websites, the .govs, the .orgs. If anyone's offering to help you, make sure you check out samples and verify them with other people. And if something seems too good to be true, then it probably is. So there you go. There's some important points about scamming of doctors on the internet. If you like this video, then please leave me a like below. And if you've got a comment about a scammer you've come across or being scammed, please leave one in the description below. I'd like to create as much awareness about this problem as possible. Please subscribe and turn on notifications to my videos, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.